Hello, I'm Giulia. Welcome to my kitchen. Today I'm going to show you how to make a very traditional pizza rustica that we called, that is more like a savory pie and very traditional this time of the year, which is like very close to spring and Easter. And this pie especially is an Easter pie. Not that we ate it at Easter Sunday, but more like it the next day. Well, we used to go and take it on a picnic. It was one of our favorite things to have. And so my children obviously love it, my whole family and friends. And so I decided to put it on YouTube because this way they can watch it and do it eventually, hopefully. Anyway, what you're going to need for this is, first of all, for the dough, you're going to need dough to cover the bottom and the top of the pie. You're going to need, I'm using 2 pounds basically, or 2 containers of whole milk ricotta. And again, make sure you use good ricotta, whole milk, because it makes a difference. And then one of my, I would say not secret ingredients, but different ingredients than most of the other pizza rustica you might see out there is that we actually use meatballs. Salami, hard salami, or dry salami, whatever you want to call it, and a form of a fresh cheese. I usually am happy with the one that is a Mexican cheese that they call panela. It's probably a 2-day-old kind of cheese, and it melts like mozzarella. It just doesn't do the strings, which is the perfect thing that we used to use back where I come from. Okay, so now that we have all the ingredients, we have the salami, we have the ricotta, we're going to put this aside and we're going to do the dough. We're going to stretch the dough so that we can cover a pie dish. I'm using a pretty big one because, again, in this recipe can very easily be split in half. If you don't want to make a big one, you can make a 9-inch pie with half of the ingredients. Okay, so let's start. Okay, so what I didn't mention before was this dough. It was created most likely for these kind of pies, but if it's difficult for anybody to do their own made ones, you can get a pie crust. Some people I know, they even use the puff pastry dough for this kind of thing. What you might not want to do is make it too heavy, too much in filling. It's going to break apart. This dough, the beauty of this dough is they're very simple, but at the same time it's got elasticity and it's got resilience. And you want that in this kind of dough because it's going to hold and it's going to stay together very well. So now we're going to just, you know, I cut the dough in half. I'm going to try to make a circle that'll fit my pie dish to the bottom, and then I'm going to do the other one for the top. Okay, what I'm going to do now, I'm going to do a little trick. You roll it up and you push it along and it expands until you get it. It's got to be pretty thin. You don't want it thick because then it'll stay raw, will not cook very well. What just want to do is if you were doing an apple pie and you want to do the crimpling around. Now what we're going to do is just, and you can always stretch it a little bit while it's in a pan. That'll do it. Okay. Sure that the bottom is covered. Okay. At this point, we'll leave this alone and we'll do it after. We'll fill it. What I want you to do is basically, it's layered, just like any casserole or pie that you do these kind of things. And the first layer should always be the ricotta cheese. Oh, and the ricotta cheese has a couple eggs, about 2 eggs, 1 for each pound, a little bit of salt and pepper in it, and it's mixed this way. When it cooks, it'll stay compact. The meatballs, uh, you can actually buy now meatballs that are already cooked and ready to go. I sometimes, when I don't want to make this kind of pie, what I do is if I've made meatballs for the family in the recent, like, week before, 2 weeks before, I'll actually put away a couple of them, put them in the freezer, and then they're ready to go. So everything is sliced and ready. The salami. So we'll do, like I said, the ricotta cheese. We'll do a layer of ricotta cheese on the bottom. Just spread it evenly. And then we have another egg, slightly beaten for the top. We want to just brush the top with the egg so it gives it color and makes it look nice. So once you have a nice layer of this on the bottom, this is what's going to keep all the rest of the stuff moist and not, getting dry or burned. Okay, so now you start layering the rest of the stuff. You can start with the meatballs. And I usually leave a little bit of the sauce on it because, again, it just gives it a little bit of moistness. And this might be a little bit of off the beaten path as a savory pie. It's a little different from a lot of the ones you're going to hear or see. But this is the way my great aunt, the one that inspired me to cook, used to do it for us in my family. And it's remained my favorite. No matter many other ones I've tried. The day after Easter, we used to go on picnics in Italy. The day after the actual big holiday, most of the times it's another holiday. So people don't work. And so what happens is, especially because Easter time and the weather is being nicer, we used to go out and picnic, and it was wonderful. Those are some of the best memories I have. And somehow these kind of dishes I associate with those holidays and those good times, and they always bring back memories. And my family, and I keep it more or less traditional, where I don't do these kind of things all year long. I do them for special occasions, or in this case for Easter, because I want them to associate these kind of things with a particular holiday. So, but again, you can do anytime you want. Okay, salami is in. Now, the last one is the fresh cheese before the rest of the ricotta. Because again, you want to put that in the middle. It just gives it that nice chewy taste. Slice it pretty thin. You want to cover these kind of cheeses. One time when I was very young, and I hadn't done these things that many times, I did make the mistake of being the last layer, and it kind of got like hard and chewy and kind of burned. And okay, and then I found out that you put the cheese, the ricotta cheese, as the last layer. That keeps everything nice and moist and wonderful inside. Tends to get thicker in the middle. Okay. Now, see? Put it on. What you do is you crimp it now. And if it's too much, which in this case seems to be, I'm going to just cut some of it, excess, because that's going to be too much dough to cook in the oven. What I do is usually I'll go and hold down to the bottom one so that I close it all in. Then we'll crimp it a little bit around it. this way. Not only you just kind of seal in everything, it looks pretty. Okay, now we're going to just brush the egg wash. And then we're going to bake it at like 350 for at least an hour. And you have to look at it after, you know, you check it out every half hour or so. Before I put it in the oven, we're going to put some vents into it so that while it's cooking, the steam has a way to get out. So we're just going to do like several of them around. And you'll see, even though I do this, it's still going to get like bumpy and try to explode kind of thing. So just keep doing this. Just a nice one in the middle. Okay, the oven is ready. I'm going to put it in. And as you can see, it's towards the lower end of the oven. I'm going to leave it there. I'm going to put the timer on for at least half hour for now. Hey, we're ready to check on the pie in the oven. It's been a little over a half hour. As you can see, it started getting some color on, but it's definitely not ready. So we're going to need to put it on for quite a bit more, at least another half hour. Okay, I think the time has come for this pie to come out. It looks beautiful. Okay, we're going to bring it up here. And we actually going to let it sit here for a couple of minutes because right now it's still sizzling inside. And I can actually hear the boiling. And these kind of pies, you cannot cut them unless they're kind of set because otherwise they're going to fall apart. So we're going to try it and slice into it and hopefully it won't fall apart on us. It's okay. And this is what's going to look like on the inside once you cut it in. You can see all the layers of the goodies, the yummy cheeses and stuff. And hopefully you will enjoy making it and eating it as much as that we are going to enjoy eating it. Hope to see you soon. Bye.
What are you fixing, Vito?
The leftover from last night.
Ah, nice.
I got some ham, the string beans,
Oh,
potato.
Beautiful.
Amazing.